The contract worker crisis is starting to affect nursing here on the island. Hospital officials say there's a need for a lot more nurses, and the number could grow as more CWs return home.
We have about more than 50% of our nurses are on CW status, and at the same time, we also want to make sure that the theme here, the plan is to basically continue to develop the local workforce, and at the same time try to retain the CWs.
Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation Hospital CEO Esther Munoz says it's a bad time for the CW crisis because the island is dealing with a nursing shortage. Munoz says a lot of the nurses at her facility are from the Philippines. She says it can be hard to bring in nurses from the mainland.
The salary is a challenge here. It is still below the national average in the U.S. and of course, there's always a tax incentive for the CNMI. The idea that it's also close to the Philippines, and a lot of them actually do want to stay here on the CNMI because of that. But of course, salary is the biggest challenge.
Munoz says if staff ever gets too low, they have thought about other options.
It's always been discussed is that, well, is there a unit we need to close to make sure that there's especially on the acute care side. We talk about that a lot.
Munoz says she needs at least 50 nurses.
The main one is really RNs because, they are more independent than the LPNs and the nursing assistants. So it is definitely very challenging.
It's been more than a week now after Governor Ralph Torres and other CNMI officials met directly with USCIS in Washington, D.C. Still no word or confirmation about the immediate fixes to the contract worker crisis. KSPN has learned the Interior Assistant Secretary for Insular Areas, Esther Kia-Aina, will be meeting with business leaders from Chamber of Commerce, SHRM, and HANMI on Saturday afternoon at the governor's office on Capitol Hill. When pressed for answers, Interior Assistant Secretary for Insular Areas Esther Kia-Aina deferred to Governor Ralph Torres and the other agencies, like the Department of Homeland Security.
Any discussions with the immediate issues is going to have to be a bilateral discussion between the governor and the respective agencies.
Kia-Aina told media the longer-term issues surrounding immigration and the CNMI are dealt with through the Section 902 consultations between White House officials and the CNMI government. In the nation's capital last week, the Torres administration called for improved status for long-term workers as part of talks with federal officials. It's just this week Saipan Chamber of Commerce joined with HANMI and Society for Human Resource Management, calling for developers such as Best Sunshine and Honest Profit to, quote, pull and cancel all of their construction visas for construction workers not on the ground today, end quote. We have learned there are about 1,300 contract workers' statuses expiring before October 1st, 15% of the total workforce, according to business leaders. Federal officials visiting from the mainland comprised of the Office of Interior and Department of Defense, as well as United States